Something as prestigious as being a judge. You know what? I'll forego that to chase this dream.
And so for all of this, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, Vince August is here. I am live. It is Tuesday, May 18th, 2021, and I'm going to be bringing in the entire crew to talk about something that I don't know how it's literally not being discussed by everybody, like constantly. Like this is one of those stories that I'm like, how is no one caring about this? But before we get to that, please make sure that you like, follow, and most importantly, subscribe. You have to subscribe to my YouTube and my Facebook page, or either or both or whatever. Otherwise, you're not going to see these videos, because when we first started doing videos, we started saying certain words that flag videos. We started saying certain initials of certain organizations that have to do with wearing certain things. All of my videos get flagged. My posts get flagged. People are like, Vin, how come I don't see your stuff? It's because you have to like, you have to subscribe, you have to follow me, you have to share this stuff. Otherwise, no one's going to see this. I talked about it in the very first episode on Judge Vinny, which, by the way, we may be changing the kind of the look of the show as well. We might be changing the name of the show. We might be changing the night of the show. We have to kind of work with all of you to try to put it on the right day, the right time, and cover all the topics we want to cover. So there might be some changes coming to try to grow this audience. Okay. Let me bring in Jess Miller, my producer. Michael Sirachi's with us, and Ben Goodfriend off the golf course is back on the show. He's been working on his game. Everybody, welcome. We have the quad box back. We got the quad box.
Quad box.
The quad is back.
Box. And we have Tracy Dawn always checking in. Thank you for checking in, Tracy. Here's the story that we have to cover, and I reached out to everybody yesterday. I'm like, everybody, we have to talk about this. How is this not being talked about? 60 Minutes did a piece on UFOs, and this wasn't like some casual, there was a thing in the sky type. No, we have confirmation that we have UFOs flying around constantly. Like, this is a constant thing. In fact, here's the quote by Ryan Graves, who is a Navy pilot lieutenant. Like, I'm talking like Top Gun Navy pilot. This guy's not a joke. This guy's the legit thing. Here's how often we have UFOs. Every day. This is a quote. Every day. Every day for at least a couple of years. Do you understand what it is? I mean, how is it? You guys all saw the piece, right? Jess, you saw the piece. Everyone saw this, right?
Yeah.
Did you have the same what the F reaction?
No, I didn't really care.
What? Why? How? How is that possible?
I don't know.
Really? That you have like, what part of this don't you care about? Like, there's
Any of it.
All right. Sriracha, am I insane?
No, you have the right reaction. I mean, so that the guy in the 60 Minutes piece who was with the woman, I forget his name. He's like Colonel
Ryan
Five.
Graves. He's the lieutenant, Ryan Graves.
No, not that one. The one who saw the UFO with the woman they interviewed at the same time.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
David Fravor.
He went on. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He went on Joe Rogan like a year ago or something like that, and that's when I first heard of his story, and I had the same reaction that you did. I was less shocked this time because I've heard more about it since then, but
Yeah, but the information that they conveyed this time, I mean, Ben, let's get into the technical aspect of this. Do you know what kind of natural resources, wherever these things are coming from, must have to be building the type of thing that they're seeing? So let's not even get into the alien aspect, because we don't know if these things are operated by an alien or anything like that. But the science behind these things, just in terms of natural resources to create a propulsion system, sorry, I'm not saying the word right, propulsion system where there's obviously no gas or any type of energy that we can see. There's no stream coming out of this thing. It's obviously working without any effect of gravity at all. Ben, tell me I'm not crazy. Jess is looking at us like we're nuts.
You're not crazy. You're not crazy. It defies every bit of physics and propulsion that we know. And to be clear, I am no expert here. I'm really out of my depth. But you can just look at some of the footage and descriptions of the types of movement and recognize that this is nothing like any plane, helicopter, vessel that we're familiar with.
Also the reaction of the pilot.
Not even a drone.
Mm-hmm. It's like a big cat coming out of a skyscraper or something.
Even the cat thinks you're nuts. Let me tell you. First of all, in terms of the science, these things were going 13,000 miles per hour. That's between 600 and 700 G-force. Okay, that would disintegrate a human body. That we have nothing on this planet that could operate under those conditions. So if these things, by any chance, do have some other form of life operating them, we are just so far down the food chain line on this thing. We are so screwed as a being. I mean, look, first of all, most movies that we see about aliens, with the exception of E.T., they're always trying to come here and kill us. So I'm not saying that they're going to come here and use us for food or anything like that. They're not coming here to harvest. I'm not taking that we're under attack approach. It's got nothing to do with that. But literally, if these beings are this smart, this advanced to create this type of technology, we are literally nothing to them. We are amoeba to them. Ben,
right.
Michael, come on.
We're an anthill.
We're an anthill.
It's like
they
view us like we view an anthill.
Based on what we saw in the episode and what you're speaking of, Judge Vinny, with the frequency with which they've been around, according to Graves, over the past couple of years.
Every day.
If they wanted to do something like that, they probably could have and haven't thus
easily.
Far.
Correct. Easily. Yeah. So that's the first thing you have to think about. So the question and what the military believes, and by the way, just to make sure, I want to look at my quotes. They're delivering a report to Congress next month. Like, this is not something that is literally a hey, somebody saw something thing. No, the military is going to Congress next month with like a full report saying, yeah, by the way, the southern border and the thing that we might have a bigger issue. We might have a bigger issue because there's literally a thing flying through not only our atmosphere, but if you saw in the report, this thing apparently can go into water and out of water without any trouble. I mean, this is not even next level technology, Jess. Jess, this is not.
No, I'm just want to say I remember one time I drove from Cleveland to Oregon without stopping. And by the time I got to Klamath Falls, Oregon, I had to stop and get out of my car to make sure that the road didn't go away.
Okay. Imagine doing that trip in, I don't know, 6 seconds.
I would love that.
That's how fast this thing is going. And again, when you look at the fact, because look, the first reaction was when I heard the beginning of the story, again, you think right away China or someone is Russia has some type of drone. Then when you see the science behind it, I mean, I don't know about you two, Jess is unimpressed. Michael and Ben,
I'm sorry.
I was shocked.
I don't think it could be anything on this earth. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not any of that. But from what I've seen and what I heard, I don't think they think this is coming from anywhere on earth.
It couldn't be. It couldn't be based on what we know. And I mean, one very strange thing is how quickly this entire topic has changed from being fringe. If you touch it, you're viewed as outlandish and a conspiracy theorist. To now this is mainstream, accepted. It's no longer. I mean, President Obama put out a statement.
Jess said wait a minute. Jess is still on the fence with this. So are you not believing this?
You can't believe everything you hear.
No. Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. Listen. No. There's one thing if there's a dude in Arizona that shows up smoking peyote who's just like, I saw some lights. But when you have actual footage from naval carriers, this is not like some dude on a phone who's like, I saw something fly through the night and it could have been anything.
You don't think this could be?
This is our military is going to lie to us about this? You were in the military. This is the lie you guys are going to make up?
I never saw a UAP in the military.
Okay. Were you in San Diego recently in the ocean on this ship that
Did you fly fighter jets?
Yes. I mean,
do you think that we should play this clip for your audience so they know what you're talking about?
You want to play the clip? Play the clip.
I have it. I have it ready.
Load the clip and play the clip. So this way everyone sees how important this is.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Let me make sure that, can you hear it?
This week on 60 Minutes, we reported on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, more commonly known as UFOs. The Pentagon says this night vision video was taken by Navy personnel and is being investigated.
Looks like a shiny piece of aluminum foil.
To occur and be captured on video. Last August, the Pentagon set up the UAP task force to collect and analyze evidence gathered by service members who are now being encouraged to.
Okay, pause it right there if you can, Jess.
Sure thing.
We met 2 former Navy pilots, Lieutenant Commander.
Okay. All right. So, and leave us in this quad, but I like this box. Here's the first thing. So when I'm not going to lie, when I originally first heard of Space Force, my reaction was, oh my God, really? This is what we're going to spend money on? We don't have, and when it comes to going to the moon, I'm like, look, we know what's on the moon. Nothing. There's nothing on the moon. There's no reason to go there. Even with Mars, at times I'm like, can't we spend this money on homeless? Really? Can't we just get rid of homeless people and not worry? So I'm the type of guy, when I hear about stuff being spent on outer space programs and Space Force, I'm the first one. I'm the first one to say, can we just take care of humanity and not worry about that? Now seeing this, all of a sudden, when I heard we're creating the first ever Space Force, now I'm like, no, hold on. Now I get it. And for those of you that were like me and but like really we're spending money on this, I mean, hopefully you're in a now I get it mode. No, go ahead. Play the rest of this clip because this is amazing what we're going to hear now.
I have to say, Vince, that this makes me think of you in Disneyland or Disney World, your level of excitement about this.
This is insane.
Wow. It's pretty shocking. It's pretty
Okay.
shocking.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Play the
Okay,
clip.
here we go.
Alex Dietrich and Commander Dave Fravor. In 2004, they witnessed something shocking, inexplicable, and seemingly out of this world. Did the thought of UFO enter your minds?
It was unidentified, and that's why it was so unsettling to us, because we weren't expecting it, because we couldn't classify it. But what I want to be really careful of here is that we don't jump to conclusions, right? That we don't sensationalize this or
Little green men.
little green
Little
men
green men.
or extraterrestrial.
You're seeing something that defies explanation. Very much.
Yes.
They like walk on eggshells. They're too scared to admit that it's aliens.
Yeah.
Right.
The USS Nimitz
They don't want
carrier
to say it.
was training about
Yeah.
100 miles.
Rubio was like that in his interview too.
The advanced new radar on a nearby ship,
All right.
the USS Princeton, had detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon.
Not one, multiple.
8,000 feet in less than a second.
And I love how the name is changing. They're now anomalous aerial vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
trying to
don't
warm
want
us
to
up to
traffic
the
in the
idea.
same language as all the
Unidentified
nutcases.
aerial
In
phenomenon.
an otherwise calm blue sea, it appeared to them that an object about the size of a 737 was just under the water.
So as we're looking at this, her backseater says, "Hey, Skipper, do you?" And about that got out. I said, "Dude, do you see that thing down there?" And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving above the whitewater area.
Did you ever drop your phone and it sort of bounces off the countertop and then bounces off something else, and it was sort of like no predictable movement, no predictable trajectory.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just
It was just like a ping pong ball.
no acceleration.
Very, very random.
Acceleration.
As Dietrich circled above, Fravor went in for a closer look. So you're sort of spiraling down?
Yep. The tic-tac still pointing north-south. It goes "Boop," and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me.
I like
So
the
as I'm
sound
coming down,
effects.
it starts coming up.
So it's mimicking your moves.
Yeah, it was aware we were there.
And these are people who are super familiar.
I go like this. It's coming
Yes.
still, like just
Flying
right in front of
crafts.
me, It just disappears.
Flying
Dis-
craps.
Disappears.
Just all right. So you hear what he just said there? It just disappears. All right. Pause the video. Bring us back in the quad box, Jess. Thank you so much for that. All right. So here is the key to this thing. We're talking about something that accelerates so fast that it literally disappeared from radar. Is that what that noise was? That noise was I was hearing the whole time. Literally disappears from radar. Do you understand what it is to go from 80,000 feet to 20,000 feet and move within that space, literally without having to nosedive, I mean, this object, whatever it is moving in directions that make no sense whatsoever. Okay? This is like beyond, look, you can't even.
But if you
fake
drop a
this
piece of aluminum
technology.
foil, you look at that. It was like really super fast.
Not 13,000 miles an hour. That we
Well,
have
I mean-
nothing that moves that fast. We have nothing. Yeah. Ben, I mean, I was like, again, when I'm hearing this, I'm sitting there mouth agape going, "What? How is the world not glued to this going, wait a minute, what's going?" And if you're China, if you're Russia, I don't care what country you are, you've got to be like, we need to talk about this. This is not a COVID situation where you're like, let's hide it, let's not talk about it. This is a world situation where everybody's be like, everybody, anybody else seeing this? What's going on here? Like, I would hope we're sharing this information with the world. No?
There's no way we are though, because we're too scared of the security threat of like if it happens to be a Chinese drone or a Russian drone. I think there's too much reservation from the American military to cross that line and speak about their intelligence. But that's what we should be doing.
But it's out now. I mean, it's out. I mean, they're presenting this to Congress next month, so it's out of the bag.
It's out,
and-
but I think there are questions about how far will they go? Will they give us enough to satisfy?
Never. There's no way we're getting. Look, We know we're not getting everything in Congress next month. We know that. Okay. What I think we got out of 60 Minutes was because now, for those of you that don't know, and I don't know if Ben and Michael saw this, Jess definitely changed the channel when she first saw it. But that first video of that green triangle, that was actually captured, that was hacked into. So that was picked up by a Navy vessel, and then apparently someone hacked into it and picked it up. And that's how this first came out. So I don't know if you guys saw that original story, but that's how this all came. Yeah. Wow. So what happened was that first green triangle looking object, okay, was picked up by that Navy vessel. I don't know if it was the Princeton or the Nimitz, and someone apparently hacked into the Navy system and saw that and said, hey, look, I just heard the Navy saw this and no one is saying anything about it. So that kind of triggered this whole thing. So once that came out and the Navy was just, and the Pentagon was just like, listen, all right, now that it's out of the bag, I guess we got to talk about this because no one can explain it. That's when it became a thing. So,
sacrifice Florida.
I love
no, we're
Jessica.
not going to sacrifice. No, Jess, we are not sacrificing Florida. That's
Vince,
right. We are not sacrificing Florida.
I'm going to retire in Florida.
We have a lot of states we could sacrifice before Florida. Okay. We are not sacrificing Florida. Unless we just do it. You know what? We do it tournament style. We do it hockey tournament style. That's right. We do whatever team loses in the first round, that state gets eliminated. We make it a real
state has one representative.
Where do you think the weakest
fighter forward?
The weakest average citizen comes from which state? Probably Massachusetts.
Oh, wow. He went right there. Look
They're
at
all
that.
talk. They're all talk out there, man.
Well, actually, Jess is from Massachusetts, and she doesn't care about any of this. So, if Massachusetts got blown up, she wouldn't even know what happened.
Listen, here's the thing:
she would say it was a piece of aluminum foil that fell on her.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even survive to say that. You know.
Jess is gonna die of boredom from this conversation.
The cat is looking at Jess. The cat is looking at Jess with such suspicion. Like, how do you not know that this is a real fight? No, it's not looking at
me. It's behind me. It's looking at the two of you.
I think cats are aliens. How about that? So Jess Savino says, I feel we've had UFOs forever, and they haven't bothered us yet. All right. So let's get into that a little bit. So now we've heard about Egyptian pyramids where they built by aliens. We've heard Stonehenge. For everybody on this, let's start with Michael. So now that you are hearing about this, how much of this story influences you to believe, hey, maybe some of this stuff that people are just like, we can't explain it, pyramids, and we think there was a pulley system, Stonehenge, we don't know. Now, do you start to all of a sudden open up your mind to that stuff that maybe this was aliens?
Yeah, so one of the things that really gauged my interest in this was when I heard someone talking about how UFO sightings dramatically increased after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I think that after the nuclear blast went off, we got on the radar of some other.
They detected maybe a heat source from across the galaxy or whatever. Yeah.
So I wouldn't go as far back as the pyramids, but just the notion that we've been visited more since those moments, I believe it. I'm a believer.
How about Ben? Crop circles and all of that stuff. Does all of that stuff take on a new life for you, or no? I mean, we got lunatics out there.
We do.
I think three of them are right here.
I don't know, Jess. You saw the evidence is pretty irrefutable. I mean, I don't know.
Irrefutable indeed.
I can't believe she's still a denier. How are you a denier?
I don't know.
Just
what more do you need to say?
An infinite universe with.
I think
how many galaxies are there?
Like, because I didn't get a cat nap in today.
There are.
All right, question for Jess. Hold on. Okay, question for a sincere question. I want a serious answer about this. Do you believe that there is life outside of our solar system?
I would hope so.
No, forget about hope. Do you think that there is?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't have a gut feeling, yes, there's something out there, it's just us.
Well, let's see. There was nothing on the moon. We haven't found any life on Mars.
Our solar system
if you go into some sort of wormhole, like
We respect.
Jodie Foster did in Contact. Maybe.
Okay. Michael, same question. Do you think that there's life out there somewhere?
Yeah, I just looked up how many planets are there in the universe, and I've never even seen the number before. Look how many zeros. That's like, can you see that? That's trillions, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of planets. If you think that there's not life on one of those planets, then you're just denying basic probability. Jess.
Ben, is there something out there?
I am totally on the same page as Michael.
This is not the shit on Jess segment, okay? I'm just saying.
No. But just from a mere perspective of look, considering how we are infinitesimally small compared to what is our universe. Just scientifically speaking, taking into account solar system, distance from stars, and everything else. You just from a purely scientific perspective, it's almost impossible that there's not something else out there. Now, I think what it is our human brain capacity isn't evolved enough to understand beyond our limitations of knowledge.
That's
so, for example,
what I'm experiencing right now.
No, so when these pilots, in all honesty, when they see something like this, and these are, look, when you have a naval pilot, you're talking about people that this is, a highly intelligent person. This is not someone who's going to go on 60 Minutes and just start talking shit. When they see something like that and they're sitting there unable to explain what they saw, again, you're talking about a level of intelligence, sophistication, whatever adjective you want to give it.
Credible people. These are credible people.
That they can't explain. I mean, that takes the game to another level that maybe, again, there's an arrogance. Look, we have an arrogance in this country about what happens in other countries. Maybe we have an arrogance as a being, humans as a being, to not understand what's out there and not have the capacity to understand what's out there because of our own limitations. But I am absolutely convinced there's got to be something out there. There's no way we're the only thing.
The only question mark in my mind is, and this is what a lot of like conspiracy theorists / like people who study this stuff say, is like, how far away would that planet be, and can organic life live long enough to travel from that planet to our planet before they die?
But that's the whole thing with what we're seeing. With what we're seeing, the question really is that something that is being operated by a life form? Or is it literally just something out there bouncing around all over the place that, is nothing more than we send? Like, for example, look at what we send to Mars. We send the rover on Mars, planted on Mars. So if you're a being on Mars and you see this thing on your planet, you're like, oh my God, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. That could be something that, again, is advanced for whatever life being there might be on Mars. So when we see this, we could have the same reaction. And again, none of it's man. So that's the big question, and who knows if we're ever going to get that answer? Who knows if we have the technology to get that answer? Look at Jess. I guess we're the ones that
what is going on?
You look like a conspiracy theorist because you have the cat.
Putting on my tinfoil hat.
Right. The lady with the tinfoil hat and the cat in the background thinks that we're the nuts. Think about that one.
Yeah.
There's something called that's just off what Judge Vinny and Mike are talking about, called the Drake equation, that shows the probability based on the scope of our universe that we're alone. And it's low. If you just look at how large the universe is as we know it, it's unlikely. It's unlikely that we are this only.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely. It's not even that it's unlikely. It's highly unlikely. And again, look, I'm one of these people, and I've always been one of these people that when it comes to exploring space, I'm the type of person, can we spend money on exploring our planet? Can we clean up the oceans? Can we get some of the fishing nets out of the ocean? We've never been to the bottom of the ocean. We don't even know what's on our own planet. To start messing around with a technology that now we know, look, we are far handicapped in this battle, okay? But all of a sudden, it kind of changes the game when it's this close and it's something that is, basically here every day. Like that's an unbelievable phenomenon. I just want to look at my notes, make sure I got everything that I saw here. Here's one of the quotes that came from the show. There's nothing we can build that would be strong enough to endure that amount of force and acceleration when talking about dropping from 80,000 feet to 20,000 foot deck. And again, you're not talking about a nosedive. And a 737 is big, by the way. You're talking about literally, you're talking about something that can literally move like this if it's a plane. So that is another thing. And what's important not only for technology, but So again, if these things are in fact piloted by another being, whatever that being is, can withstand 600 to 700 G-force. I mean, I don't even know what that could be made of. That is human. That's anything that we know to be human tissue. I don't even know if that's possible. So, wow. This to me, this was a really crazy, eye-opening 60 minutes. Anybody who's watching this, go watch it. And I'm not I'm not an outer space alien person, but this isn't about that. This isn't about crop circles. This isn't about, people in Area 51. And there's never mention of, big head with dark eyes. This was a completely different story. Ben, you want to have an additional word on this or jump in?
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I would say is we don't need to – there you go, Jess. We don't need to be –
Ben's hiding in his basement, by the way. He's so scared right now. He's got the lights off. He's like –
yeah.
I don't think we need to be either afraid of what we might learn or having this confirmation bias on the other end of the spectrum now where we're exclusively looking for evidence that supports the existence of intelligent life elsewhere. Let's just continue to evaluate what we see, what we hear from people who, like Commander Fravor and his partner on that interview, have lived this and are experts. And up to this point, if we look at that, it's pretty damn convincing evidence.
Absolutely. Srirachi, you want to jump in?
I think that's a good final words.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we're open to something that, we've never seen. And the other amazing thing is, not only is this not being talked about by any news network other than CNN, other than CBS and 60 Minutes, the internet has been – the one thing – when I woke up Monday morning, I'm like, oh, my God, this is going to be all over Twitter. This is going to be great. What do I see on Twitter? Prince Harry is upset with our First Amendment somehow. The guy who came here to be in Hollywood has been interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. He's gone on every podcast. I mean, he just said on a podcast, I don't know even whose podcast. Basically, it was like a group chat type of thing that, I find your First Amendment to be, kind of overboard. And I was just like, dude, you are literally coming here to take advantage of the First Amendment. And and people, that's what was trending on Monday. Not the fact that we have UFOs, the fact that we have an alien from England that's coming here.
Yeah.
I
just stupid bullshit in our world.
I just want to know if you think that's an actual UFO or if it's fake.
Jess, I so can't wait for the day for you to have the type of reaction that I am having, Srirachi's having, and Ben is having to this phenomenon.
I am in menopause, and I don't give a shit.
Damn, man.
Man.
So, real quick, she's losing it. She's absolutely losing it.
What are you taking for menopause? I'll have what you're having, Jess. Give me some of that. Like,
I don't know what was in the injection that you took, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was the COVID.
I think she got probed last night.
Yeah.
Oh man,
guys, Prince Harry. What's this guy's story? I mean, are we giving this guy way too much FaceTime? And
it's very similar to the UFOs. I don't even understand why we're talking about it.
No, but here's the thing: you got interviewed by Oprah. You shouldn't be saying yes to literally everybody that asks you for an interview at this point.
No one interviewed me, but no, Oprah did not interview me.
No. I'm talking about Prince Harry. He's literally going on every podcast. He's literally doing every interview he could get. It's like, dude, you got interviewed by Oprah. You could say no. You know what I'm saying?
So
you
what
could
is
say
his
no to
complaint?
people.
What is his complaint, that he's getting interviewed by too many people?
No, his complaint is that our First Amendment is apparently too broad.
Okay,
Now-
so let me ask you a question. Is he getting
Yes.
interviews because he's saying that?
No, he's talking to everybody. He's literally what you're missing the point here. He's saying our First Amendment is too
Sorry.
broad while he's making maximum use of our First Amendment. Not to mention, the guy comes from a country where there's a park in England where you can actually pay to stand on a soapbox and you can talk about anything, but there's one thing you can't do. You can't bash the Queen. You can't bash the royal family. What does he do? Immediately comes here and bashes the royal family, basically calls someone out for being racist, won't name who it is. So you just came here to take advantage of the thing that you can't take advantage in your own country, and then you're going to shit on it on top of it? I mean, come on, guys.
I say
What do
kick
we
him
got
back.
there?
Don't
Well
let
said,
him
Judge
come
Vinny.
in. Yeah,
I agree.
hate that type of hypocrisy. That's ridiculous.
This guy's grinding on me
Boo.
way too soon. Yeah, I'm done with this guy.
I
I've
think
been
you're
done with
in
this guy.
menopause.
Oh my gosh, she is so looped.
She's losing it.
Jess, what's going on?
Jess definitely got stoned before this show. Everyone, I'm sorry. All right.
I didn't. I should have.
You're so stoned.
Crazy.
Right. Yeah, she's stoned. All right.
I am not.
Jess is-
I am not stoned.
all right.
I ate nothing.
You sound like me just coming home from a Friday night in high school talking to
You're
my
stoned. I'm not stoned. You're stoned.
Oh, and I was in the pool
Yeah.
this morning in the
I'm in menopause.
Yeah. I'm not stoned. You're stoned. I'm not drunk.
You're drunk. Okay.
Next
Sorry.
story that came up. So 2 weeks ago, SNL had Elon Musk. Ratings through the roof. Highest rated show SNL has had for a while. This week, no Elon Musk. They trashed Elon Musk. Lowest rated SNL show from what I understand, in the history of their show since they've been looking at ratings. I don't find that hard to believe because I don't think that many people were watching it back in the 70s. 3.5 million viewers watched SNL this week, which for them is a ratings nightmare. Ben, what the hell's going on with SNL? Is it just are people just done with the woke culture at this point, or is it something else?
SNL can be very hit or miss. Part of me thinks that it was just sort of the up and down after the ratings bump from Elon Musk. I think the guest was Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah,
I love Keegan.
He's hilarious. And
Very
he's super
funny.
talented.
He's
So
awesome.
funny.
He's amazing.
Very funny,
Super
very talented. And he went into the show saying this is going to be one of the best SNL. He vowed to make it the best SNL ever. Didn't happen.
Oops.
Nothing to do with the ratings. A lot of this stuff just bombed or whatever. But I mean, the fact that we're looking at SNL, which has been this unbelievable franchise, falling apart in front of our eyes in terms of the people that are viewing it and watching it. Again, I look, you can't be afraid to make jokes about certain things and only make jokes about other things and not expect there to be this reaction. Sriracha, are you an SNL fan or no?
I mean, yeah, historically, yeah. Like I love going on YouTube and watching like Will Ferrell, Bill Hader, like those types of SNL, those eras. But I don't know anyone on the cast besides Kenan Thompson currently. I think part of it is that the cast just doesn't seem that funny. Like when I've seen the skits, none of the like cast members really excite me.
Well, look,
and then
you
got
a great writer though in Michael Che. Kate McKinnon is uber talented. So let me ask you that. I don't mean to cut you off.
I think the cast is talented. I'm excited about the cast personally.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys, and Jess, jump in as well. If you did watch SNL, what would be the thing that make you watch SNL? Is it the guest, or is it you're just a fan of the show and you want to watch the show? Let's start with Jess on that. What would make you tune in?
Well, I tuned in when Elon Musk was doing it because I was in Dogecoin and I wanted to see what he was going to say, which was pretty much half the world.
So
you don't believe in aliens, but you believe in meme coins.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what?
She believes it.
You know what?
Fucking crazy, man.
Mike, Srirachi just got the line of the night.
Wow.
Yes. Srirachi, that was the line of the night. That's true. You believe in a coin that doesn't exist, but not in aliens. Which we
I
now
didn't-
have proof.
Well said.
I'm not gonna swear.
Because
I'm not
you're
gonna
so stoned. Ben, when you watch SNL, what are you watching for?
Stoned.
I think audience viewing habits in general have just changed. Like SNL
I think so too.
hails from an era when you just had the family sitting in front of the TV on a Saturday night. And now with the advent of all these different streaming platforms, people are curating their media consumption in a much more individualized way. So whereas before Saturday Night Live was incredible and had these astronomical ratings because it could appeal to such a wide variety of audience, now they're sort of groping for the same wholesale appeal when everything else is becoming much more siloed and targeted in its audience.
And the other thing is, I think in general, I think people are tuning out television because it has gone to a place of just, it's too safe. And there's no irreverence. There's no, you can get more from other outlets. You can get more from YouTube. You can get more from Instagram. You can get more from all these other places where people are taking chances, podcasts, where no one's taking chances on SNL. And I think a lot of people are tuning it out. Want to get on one other topic as we're running into the tail end of the show here. Last topic, the entity that shouldn't be named or can't be named, because if you name them, every video gets flagged. But the group of people in Washington that tell people whether or not you should wear the thing that goes like that, all of a sudden, apparently, it's okay to disagree with them. People have come out since they said, look, you know what? If you're fully, you don't have to wear the. Hold on, let me finish. No. Hold on. Let me finish this. So all of a sudden, if you've had your injection, you don't have to wear a mask. Okay. All of a sudden, now people are slamming the CDC with this whiplash turnaround, saying, hold on a second. And not only are people slamming it, you have 5 states. Governor Murphy, you have Governor Newsom in California, Michigan, Illinois, and there's one other state are saying, we're not following your guidelines. Imagine if a year ago, anybody went on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and said, the CDC, I'm sorry, I'm not following your guidelines. You would have been banned. You would have been banished. You would have your channel demonetized. Now, all of a sudden, and we're not talking about people, we're not talking about news, we're talking about governors, are basically saying, sorry. And people in general, there's a huge swath of people are saying, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't trust this honor system. I don't like this. I don't like what the CDC. Apparently now it's fair game. What about this? Ben, I mean, wow. Turn around every which way.
I mean, yeah, they've been really from the start. It seems like we're aiming at a moving target here. And what's changed now, as you've alluded to, is it seems socially acceptable to push back, whereas before that was a death sentence. You were censoring yourself or condemning yourself to almost certain censorship. I think. Target. Yeah, there you go. I think. I think the CDC does have our best interests at heart. And I think there's a lot of new information that they're constantly dealing with. So I think the problem is they are reevaluating and changing their recommendations over time. But to the casual observer, it just seems like these guys can't make up their mind. And
I'm gonna disagree with you on one point and then go to Michael. When you say they have our best interest at heart, the only reason I'm going to disagree with you with regards to one specific area is when they would release guidelines with regards to schools, they would send it to the union first. The union would say, hold on, we don't like this. And then they would amend their guidelines based upon union feedback. So that's when I was like, I don't know about that one. Michael, all of a sudden, it's okay to bash CDC. When you heard the new mandate or the new, it's not a mandate, when you heard the new requirements, what was your reaction to at least this honor system notion of masking off and, hey, look, you know what? We're just going to have to trust that the people that are not wearing the mask are vaxxed. Are you comfortable with that or no?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't really, I had COVID already, so I don't have like a personal stake in it anymore, and I'm vaxxed. But yeah, the hypocrisy of it is annoying because I was in college when COVID happened, and I had to listen to people on both sides just be incredibly have really hard stances on it, and now it's like it all fell through.
All right, so you're feeling a little bulletproof because you're saying, look, I got the antibodies and I got the injection. I think I'm good. Now, we saw Gleyber Torres of the Yankees was in your situation and contracted COVID. But again, he's got no signs of this thing. And that's the whole point of the antibodies and the vaccine. So in your mind, or you're like, hey, look, you want to wear the mask, you don't want to wear the mask. I'm safe. You guys do whatever you want to do. Is it more that or something else?
It's more that. It's more.
Okay.
I don't have a personal. I'm not worried when I walk outside, or I'm not like thinking about it from that sense. I'm thinking about it more from like the political sense of how I've had to engage with different people in the last year. And it's frustrating to me that I've had to listen to people, especially college students, be so opinionated on something. And now it's like, it doesn't even matter anymore, but the circumstance hasn't really changed. So where did all that opinion, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So Jess, you're vaccinated.
I am.
What's your feeling on this honor system?
I find it very confusing.
Okay. So basically,
I did a show indoors on two Saturdays ago. And once the masks came off, they were off.
Okay. And what was the rules what were the rules for the indoor? Was it
no, people wore their masks until they ate.
Okay.
And then once they ate, they just stayed off. And I was like, well, I guess if the antibiotics don't, or the vaccine doesn't work, I'll get sick. There's nothing I can do about it now. And then last Saturday, I went to another show and they're like, you don't have to wear your masks. And then I was like, what do you mean I don't have to wear my mask? Because this feels weird. So it feels a little premature. And based on what I saw, and based on the fact that I was in the military, I'm going to say that their level of communication with one another was a little foobar. And they probably should have checked the powers that be or gone through their chain of command and made sure that they were all on the same page before releasing such information so as not to cause this a massive amount of confusion. But instead, they released shit about a UFO because we have nothing else to think about. So this is great.
You actually just set me up for the perfect ending for this.
You're welcome.
To me, it's always been about the messaging. It's always been about the messaging and how you. And to me, look, if Biden didn't know in advance that the CDC was going to release this recommendation, that's a show of disrespect towards the White House. Huge. And if they did know, and he was wearing a mask that morning in a meeting, well, where's his messaging, and how bad does he and his administration look for not getting ahead of this thing? And basically that morning you were just like everyone wearing, and then all of a sudden in the afternoon, the other thing that I didn't like, and you know, we're again with regards to messaging, when the president and the vice president put out a tweet that says, get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do, which sounds like a forever type of thing. Wear a mask until you do. To put out that type of statement where kids under 12 years old have not even been approved for vaccinations, when you have people that following the science, scientists and doctors are saying having the antibodies from having COVID is actually more protective than the vaccine itself. When you have people that have illnesses that can't get vaccinated, if someone has lung cancer, the last thing you want to do is inject them with the virus that attacks your lungs. When you have people that have certain neurological, impairments that doctors are saying, look, I don't think this is for you. When you tell those people, you know what, you're wearing a mask until you do, and they can't, I think that's really bad messaging. That's a really bad way to say it. It doesn't give anyone incentive. Basically, it's that parent role of, you're going to do this If not, you're going to be punished. And it sounds like a punishment. And you know what? That's not the way to me to lead. It's not the way to send a message. And I don't think it's making anyone get this thing. Okay. So thank you, everyone, for being on the show. Ben is hiding out from he's back in his waterboarding room. Michael Sirachi.
Yeah, get the lights on here.
He's recovering. He's a huge Washington Capitals fan. Took a beating last night and an overtime loss, but they're going to bounce back. And Jess has had some great brownies today. She is loving life. She is flying higher than any UFO we've ever had.
You're just jealous.
She's gonna go buy fake currency, but never ever watch Aliens Attack. Everybody, so here's what we have coming. We're gonna kind of adapt the show a little bit. We may switch a night. We're gonna talk about it. The other thing is I have shows coming up starting next week. Wednesday, I'm doing a show in Paramus, New Jersey. Thursday, I'm starting a series of weekly shows at a place called Art of Spice in Hackensack, New Jersey. It's just me on a stool with a microphone. Everyone come in. We're going to have food, full menu at this place. It's a tapas menu. They have foods from all international foods. I'm just going to riff. We're going to be doing that every Wednesday night. I have a show coming up in Hopewell Junction, New York. That Saturday, I have a show coming up at the Stress Factory. My first time down at the Stress Factory, New Brunswick, New Jersey. That's June 6th, I think. And all of a sudden, I'm back in the clubs. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on the show. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, promote, watch me. Go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Have a great week.